Welcome back to the Tunnel Walk Talk. I'm your host, Emmett. Today we'll be going over the win over Northwestern, previewing USC. I'll also be giving you 5 keys to beating USC. I'll give you my offensive and defensive projected MVPs and a score prediction. And also, as always, games around the country. Remember to like, subscribe, and share with all your friends. Share all your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Now, let's get into Northwestern. Nebraska and Northwestern both came into this game as a 5-2 team. They were both looking to get bowl eligible in October. Nebraska was favored by 7.5 points at the start of the game. Nebraska came out on top, 28-21. Let's take a look how they got there. First quarter, Northwestern punted on their first drive. Nebraska had a 6-play, 69-yard drive, ended in an E.J. rushing touchdown to make it 7-0. Northwestern had a 9-play 53-yard drive that ended in a 40-yard field goal, making it 7-3. In the second quarter, Nebraska had a 14-play, 40-yard drive that ended in a missed 40-yard field goal. The game stayed at 7-3. Northwestern then had a 15-play, 67-yard drive set up for a 25-yard field goal to make it 7-6. Nebraska had an 8-play, 51-yard drive that ended in a Dylan Raiola fumble. Northwestern took it to the half. Third quarter, Nebraska, on their opening kickoff of the third quarter, Kenneth Williams took it 95 yards to the house to make it a 14-6 lead. Northwestern punted, Nebraska punted. Northwestern threw an interception. Donovan Jones got that interception. Nebraska had a 32-yard, 3-play drive, ended in a 12-yard reception by Isaiah Hunter to make it 21-6. Northwestern had a 9-play, 78-yard drive that ended up in a touchdown run by Caleb Komolafe. In the fourth quarter, Nebraska punts to start the fourth quarter. Northwestern has a 4-play, 80-yard touchdown drive that ends in a 56-yard touchdown by Komolafe. Then Nebraska throws an interception. Northwestern then throws it right back to Nebraska. The interception was by Javin Wright. Nebraska had a 13-play, 60-yard drive that ended in an Emmett Johnson touchdown run. Northwestern turned it over on downs. Nebraska runs out the clock, ends the game. Some team stats. First downs, both teams had 18. On third down, Nebraska was 6 for 12 for 50%. Northwestern was 7 for 14 or 50%. On fourth down, we were 2 for 3 or 66%. Northwestern was 1 for 2 or 50%. We had 296 total yards. They had 331 total yards. Passing yards, we had 141. They had 159. We were 16 for 22 or 72% on the day passing. They were 15 of 29 or 51% passing. We averaged 6.4 yards a throw. They averaged 5.5 yards. We had 1 pick. They had 2. We had 155 yards rushing. They had 172 yards rushing. We had 39 attempts. They only had 30. Yards per rush, we only averaged 4 yards a carry. They averaged 5.7 yards a carry. We had four penalties for 39 yards. They had 3 penalties for 29 yards. Each team had 2 turnovers. Nebraska led the time of possession with 30 minutes and 16 seconds. Northwestern's time of possession was 29 minutes and 44 seconds. Take a look at some player stats. Preston Stone, he was 15 for 29 or 51%, 159 yards, no touchdown, 2 picks, QBR of 32.7. He also had 4 carries for 5 yards. Caleb Komolafe had 17 carries for 125 yards, averaged 7.4 yards a carry, and 2 touchdowns. Joseph Hinton, II had 8 carries for 37 yards, averaged 4.6 yards a carry. Griffin Wiley had 3 receptions for 54 yards, no touchdowns. Hayden Elgin had 4 receptions for 48 yards, no touchdowns. Hunter Wilson had 2 receptions, 29 yards, no touchdowns. Defensively, they had 62 total tackles, 40 solo, 22 assists, 1 sack, 4 TFLs, 1 pick. Now, Nebraska player stats. Dylan Aiello was 16 for 22, 72 yards, 141 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, QBR of 54.5. Emmett Johnson had 27 carries for 124 yards, 4.6 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns, also had 2 receptions for 15 yards. Isaiah Mosey had 3 carries for 28 yards, no touchdowns. And Isaiah Hunter had 6 receptions for 70 yards, 1 touchdown. Dan Key, 3 receptions, 22 yards, no touchdowns. Lyndon Meyer, 1 reception, 15 yards, no touchdown. Ja'Cory Barney had 3 receptions, 13 yards, no touchdowns. He also had 3 carries for 8 yards and no touchdowns. Defensively, we had 56 total tackles, 30 solo, 26 assists, and 2 interceptions. Kick returns, Kenneth Williams, 2 for 124, 1 touchdown. Isaiah Mosey, 1 for 18. My final thoughts on this game. Nebraska played really well this week, despite having some turnovers. The O-line played a million times better this week than last week, only allowing 1 sack, and I don't think they gave up a lot of pressures, maybe a handful, something we haven't seen all year, actually. Defensively, we didn't give up a lot of missed tackles like we have been the last couple weeks. We had a first takeaway in, I think, 3 weeks is what it was. Okay, now let's get into USC. USC is coming off a bye. They were 5-2, and they were just put back into the top 25 today. They were at 23rd. Number 23 USC is set to travel to Lincoln for a 6:30 kickoff on NBC. This will be Nebraska's blackout game in Lincoln. Early betting odds per FanDuel has USC favored by 6.5, which is honestly not shocking. ESPN Bet doesn't have their line out, which is what I usually use. I expect this line to drop to probably 4.5, maybe even 3.5 in USC's favor. Let's get into some stats. Points per game, Nebraska averages 35. They average 42 points per game. On third down, we are 42 of 92 or 45% on the year. They are 43 of 81 or 53% on the year. Fourth down conversion rating, we are 6 for 15 or 40%. They are 10 for 14 or 71%. We average 272 yards passing a game. They average 326 yards passing a game. We average 8.6 yards per pass. They average 10 yards a pass. We only average 128 yards on the ground a game. They average 203, which I think is a little skewed. The main 2 backs are going to be out this week again, I think. We average 3.9 yards a carry. They average 5.9. Penalties, we have 38 on the year for 349 yards. They have 45 penalties for 428 yards. Turnover ratio, both teams are in the plus. Nebraska's at 5. USC's at 2. Some player stats for USC. Jade Mayava is their starting quarterback. He is 145, 213, 61% completion on the year. Has 2,180 passing yards, 10.2 average, 15 touchdowns, 4 picks. Also has 23 carries for 41 yards and 4 touchdowns. Wayman Jordan is a junior, 5'9", 210 pounds. He hasn't played since Michigan. I think he's still out. Don't quote me on that. On the year, he has 88 carries, though, with 574 yards, 5 touchdowns, averages 6.5 yards a carry. I do expect him to still be out. I think he has a season-ending injury, if I'm not mistaken. Do not quote me on that. Eli Sanders is their second-string guy. He's a senior, 5'10", 200 pounds. He has also been out since Michigan. Both of those guys got hurt. First and second guy got hurt. Versus Michigan. Have not played since. I do not believe he will play. I believe he will be out this week again. Anyways, he has 47 carries for 246 yards, 5.6 yards a carry, and 2 touchdowns. Now, the third-string guy who's been starting for them the last 2 weeks, his name's King Miller. He's a freshman, 6 foot, 210 pounds, a little bit on the bigger side. I do believe he's a starter right now, at least. He has 47 carries, 380 yards, 3 touchdowns, and averages 8.1 yards a carry. Mekhi Lemon, one of the receivers, the leading receiver. He's a junior. He's 5'11", 195 pounds. He has 48 receptions, 758 yards, and 6 touchdowns. This is Jade Mayava's favorite target, and you can't deny that. His second favorite target on the year is Jacoby Lane. He's also a junior. He's 6'4", 200 pounds, a little bit bigger receiver. He has 24 receptions, 424 yards on the season, and 3 touchdowns. They use 2 tight ends pretty frequently. Lake McRae, he's a senior, 6'4", 250 pounds. He has 16 receptions on the year for 307 yards and 3 touchdowns. And then Walker Lyons is their other tight end they use. He's a sophomore, 6'4", 245 pounds. 13 receptions for 174 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then the third-string wide receiver, they don't use him as much. He only has 15 receptions, 170 yards, and 1 touchdown on the year. His name is Tanook Haynes. He's a freshman out of Texas, 6 foot, 195 pounds. They got a really, really good receiving core. If they're going to beat us, they're going to beat us through the air. I do believe so, at least. Defensively, Eric Gentry. He's 6'6", a 225-pound linebacker. He's a senior. Has 39 total tackles, 39 solo tackles, 48 total tackles. He has 3 sacks on the year and 3 forced fumbles. Now, safety. This guy's a big one to watch out for. His name is Bishop Fitzgerald. He's a senior. He's 5'11", 205 pounds. He has 28 solo tackles on the year, 40 total, and 5 picks on the year. He's got 5 of their 9 interceptions on the season. Desmond Steffens, he's their other linebacker. That's pretty productive. He is a sophomore at 6'3", 235 pounds, 28 solo tackles, 40 total. The rest of the Trojan defense, they have 281 solo, 124 assists, 405 total tackles. They have 21 sacks on the year, 9 picks, 6 forced fumbles, and 3 fumble recoveries. Now on the Nebraska player stats. Dylan Raiola. He is 171 of 235 yards, 235 on the year. He has 72% completion percentage. He has 1,909 yards, 17 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. Now, Emmett Johnson, he has 146 yards, 146 carries for 837 yards, averages 5.7 yards a carry, 9 touchdowns. He also has 31 receptions and 182 yards through the air and 1 touchdown. He is on pace to rush for be the first person since Devino Zigbo in 2018 with 1,082 yards to break that 1,000-yard marker. And then Isaiah Hunter, 33 receptions, 525 yards, 5 touchdowns. Isaiah's very much so our best receiver this season, and it stands out on paper and on the field. He is also on pace to break 1,000 yards a season. It'd be the first time since Trey Palmer did it in 2022 with 1,043 yards. Jacory Barney has been really disappointing this year, in my opinion. He has 30 receptions for 378 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's shown a lot of production early on in the year. It just kind of fell off. I don't know if Isaiah just kind of took the spotlight over and ran with it, or what the deal is there. Dane Key has been kind of meh. He's been doing all right though, blocking at a high level, getting the most out of his receptions when he gets targeted. He has 23 receptions on the year for 291 yards, 4 touchdowns. Luke Lindenmeyer, 24 receptions, 263 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The rest of the Cornhusker defense, the Blackshirts, as I may, have 225 solo tackles on the year, 214 assists, 496 total tackles on the year. They only have 12 sacks, 5 picks, 4 forced fumbles, and 6 fumble recoveries. Now, my 5 keys to beating USC. Winning the turnover battle is a big one. USC brings a high-powered offense, and we'll have to avoid giving them extra possessions. We'll also need to create turnovers, putting Maava in tough situations. My second key: establish a run and control the tempo. We must keep USC's offense off of the field this week. We need to be able to sustain drives and convert on 3rd down. Number 3 is exploit their weaknesses. While the Trojans have a dominant offense, there are signs of vulnerability, especially on the road. We need to use creative plays, run some misdirections, and play sideline to sideline this week. That'll be really, really crucial. Number 4, leverage the crowd. Nebraska has the toughest stadium atmosphere by far. It's the hardest place to play when teams come in, especially for the Big Ten. With this being the blackout and under the lights, I expect this to be like Colorado last year when we beat the absolute brakes off of them. Be like that crowd. Number 5, defend the big plays and be disciplined in the back end. USC can rack up yards quickly. Nebraska must limit explosive plays this week. We need to make them earn their points. All right, now my offensive MVP, I think it'll be Isaiah Hunter. He'll have 5+ receptions for 100+ yards and at least 1 touchdown, if not more. Defensively, I think it'll be Javin Wright. 12 total tackles and 2 TFLs this week. He's been playing out of his mind this last couple weeks, and I expect him to keep it up. My final thoughts on this game. Nebraska has a tough task ahead of them. When USC comes to town, we'll need to play our best game we've played all year. They're going to give us everything. This is our last chance to upset a top 25 team and get a top 25 team under our belt. Now, score prediction time. Nebraska 20, USC 21. Yes, I'm predicting a loss here. A loss to a top 25. Yeah, I know. We haven't beaten a top 25 team since Oregon in 2016 or whatever. But this team just needs to prove it for me. I'm in a prove it spot that then they can beat a top 25 team. I'm really, really hoping I'm wrong, because 10-2 is still very, very well attainable, but it is highly, highly unlikely. Now, games around the country. Penn State at Ohio State. There's not a line on that one. Ohio State wins outright. Number 9, Vandy at Texas. Texas is favored 3.5 in an early line. Texas outright. I don't have any faith in Diego Pavia to keep doing what he's doing. UCF at Baylor. There's not a line on that. Baylor is going to win. UCF at Baylor. There's not a line on that. I think Baylor is going to win that outright. Navy at North Texas. Not a line. North Texas is going to win that one, I think. I think that'll be a really good Group of 5 game to watch. Michigan State at Minnesota. Not a line on that one either. I'm going to take Michigan State. Number 18, Oklahoma at number 14, Tennessee. Not an early line on that. Tennessee is going to win that one. Number Cincinnati at number 24, Utah. I am going to take Cincy in a very, very close win. Remember to like, subscribe, and share, and have a good night. Go Big Red.